Is Kawhi officially the worst superstar to ever exist? The what? I'm sorry, I don't understand this question. I don't understand this narrative. I'll admit, I did have my issue with Kawhi when he quit on my Spurs, the team I loved. Though I must admit, as I look back on it, I was probably too hard on Kawhi Leonard at that point. Kawhi did not trust the Spurs medical staff. He wanted to bring in doctors and trainers he knew and that he trusted, and Greg Popovich, who can be a tyrant, cold-shouldered all of Kawhi's people, which alienated Kawhi, who finally decided he just wanted out from under the iron fist that Pop ruled with and still does. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Pop is Belichick. He's exactly like Belichick. For years, Pop got away with being an old-school, hard-ass coach because he had the ultimate locker room buffer, one of the greatest leaders in sports history, Tim Duncan, who kept telling teammates, just grin and bear it because we're going to win a lot of games. Belichick had Brady. Pop had TD, as in Timmy, as in Duncan. Pop once said, the day Timmy walks out that door, I'll be right behind him. Well, Tim Duncan walked out that door 8 years ago, and of course, Pop has no plans to retire. Yet, he has not resembled a GOAT coach since Tim Duncan left, just the way Brady left Belichick, and Belichick got exposed for those last 3 years in New England. I still believe that Tim Duncan, if he'd still been a Spur at that point, would have mediated and solved Pop versus Kawhi, and that Kawhi would have stayed for the duration in San Antonio. But I do know this about Kawhi. He's his own man. Kawhi's pride is as ample as his character. So once Pop went to war with him, Kawhi said, okay, I'm out. And he did quit on the Spurs I loved. He said he had some kind of thigh issue that ended his season. Tony Parker eventually called Kawhi out because Tony was coming off a ruptured quadriceps or thigh muscle. And Tony Parker told the media his injury was 100 times worse than Kawhi's, which it was. So that's when I started refusing to call Kawhi by his name. I only used his number, which was number 2. At that point, he was the equivalent of number 2 to me, as in what I talked about on last week's show, my colonoscopy. That kind of number 2 was Kawhi to me. And as you know, number 2 managed to lay over in Toronto and win an NBA championship in Toronto while he was waiting to go on to LA. But Kawhi then won me back over when he and his chief advisor, Uncle Dennis, led LeBron and his people to believe Kawhi was signing with the Lakers. Everybody was reporting Kawhi's going to LA to be with LeBron. I fell out of my chair the night he signed with the Clippers. And not because we were in the midst of a pretty big earthquake out here in LA, but did Kawhi ever pull one over on the king? Did he ever knock the king out of his chair? But back to the worst superstar ever question. You mean because Kawhi's always hurt? When it comes to Kawhi's knees, I believe they've been bad and that they will get slowly but surely worse. I do know several Clippers insiders, and I can tell you for a fact that Kawhi's knees are basically a mess. You can also take this to your bank, though. Trust me on this. Nobody works harder on his fitness than Kawhi Leonard. Not LeBron, not nobody. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't post about it. He just does it. He stays in supreme shape. His knees are just arthritic messes that have both undergone too many surgeries. One of those surgeries done very poorly. So in this way, Kawhi reminds me of Tua. As I've said, Tua he just wasn't born with the kind of body made to withstand even a college football beating. Had a reported 5 surgeries at Alabama, not to mention the start of all these concussion issues that continue to plague him in pro football. Kawhi's body is what the 1970s Cowboys I covered called brittle. He's tightly wound. He too often pulls this or pulls that. But his knees just weren't made for the pounding of an 82-game NBA schedule. He's the NBA's Tua, or maybe Tua is the NFL's Kawhi. Which brings me to the single most amazing aspect of LeBron James' career. He has never had a single surgery in 22 years of playing high contact, high flying NBA basketball. Not a single surgery. All those thunder dunks, all those midair and one collisions with other giant human beings. What's LeBron, 6'9", 260-ish? Not one knee surgery, not even a knee cleanup scope procedure that I'm aware of. Nothing ever reported. No shoulder surgery, no Achilles reattachment. The biggest reason he's the NBA's all-time leading scorer, even beyond his obvious ability, is his durability. It is all-time, all-time, all-time. Never seen anything like it. LeBron has been so blessed. Now, he does have arthritic ankles that plague him, but they incredibly don't stop him. He needs to rest here or there, but he can play through and play on those sore ankles. Still looks as explosive as he did when he was 25 as he goes on 40. Kawhi has not been blessed, not when it comes to his basketball health. Yet last season, when he was reasonably healthy, this is last season, he averaged 25 and 7. Man can still play at a star level, take over games, though he's obviously not the lockdown defender he used to be, the superstar defender he used to be now that he's 33 years of age. But when I ask people who know Kawhi if he really wants to play, they say he'll try anything to get better, including an occasional risky experimental treatment on said knees. Does that qualify him as the worst superstar to ever exist? Look, I get it. If you're a Clippers fanatic, what a beautiful new building they have. I completely understand that you hate that Kawhi's not able to play right now yet again. But I truly don't believe he's in the business of stealing money from Steve Ballmer. I just don't see how you can condemn Kawhi Leonard for having knees that have deteriorated. Now, look, if you want to question Kawhi's pain threshold, his pain tolerance, you can question away because I don't know. That's the one medical issue I do not have an answer for. As a journalist, I always said I wished I had a machine. I wish one could be invented that would allow me for just 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds, to feel the pain a star was feeling at that moment so I could say, oh, come on, that's nothing. Or I could say, my God, how is he playing on that? But no. Despite our medical advancements, we don't have that. So there's no way for me to know whether Kawhi's a warrior or a weenie. I do know this about knees. I've had 3 knee surgeries, scopes, arthroscopic surgeries. When your knee is bad because you have a cartilage tear that's catching in the mechanism of your knee, or if you've lost too much of your cartilage, your cushion that keeps bone from rubbing against bone, or if you do have a torn knee ligament that holds it in place, you just can't run. You definitely cannot play any kind of basketball, especially NBA basketball. I do think Kawhi will try to play in another, I don't know, a month or so. And I think when he does play, he'll play at a high level. I know people close to him who think this could be a really good year for him once he gets completely healthy and confident in his right knee. How long will he last after that? I have no idea. But I don't love his chances. He just no longer has NBA knees. But once upon a time, this man was a 2-time Finals MVP. He was a 6-time All-Star. He was the best two-way player in basketball. And we're asking, was he the worst ever? How? Why? I'm sorry, I don't get it. I now feel sorry for Kawhi Leonard, whose knees have turned into number 2.